Welcome, welcome, boys. Today's the day. It's gonna be me, Eddie. Somewhere over there, my other garage mate, Kitty is. We're gonna be removing the engine from the Beetle. So I got her set up where we can kind of, sort of see. The first order of business, we need to get this little air box off of here so we can have enough room to get at what we need to. We got some wires coming in that we need to disconnect because hoses are coming off. We're gonna have to get back behind here. I've got this little, underneath this piece of tin concealed is a oil cooler. Once the tin's out of my way, I'll be able to gain access to one of the bolts, or I guess in this case it's a nut that's holding the engine in. Side's got one too. They're 17 millimeters. There's also two on the bottom, or there were before I removed them preemptively. See if I can find them studs. There we go. So there's that bolt that was 17 mil. And then the other one I pulled off all as well, and that's because one was already missing for me. But the other one wasn't, so it looks like, can't tell if I'm missing a washer or not. Should be one. There's one there I can see. Too much grime. I can't tell if that's one or not. But in any case, half the work was done for me. So I had to pull the other one off to take it to Lowe's to get a proper replacement. So now that we got that, I wasn't going to put it back together just for the purposes of filming. But we also need to disconnect these cables going to the heater box on the other side. So we're going to take those out. Those are already off. And we're going to go above. Oh, there's Kitty. Ugh. Get rid of all that. Unplug any wires, get them out of the way. Get the hoses off. And then once we get that tin out of the way, we'll have access to the other one. We're going to get this piece of tin out of here, and then we should be able to drop the engine out. So I'll set you up so you can see what I'm doing from a distance. And if I have to get in here and explain anything, I will. Okay, boys, and just to show you what we got going on underneath, we've disconnected the big hose from the heater box, along with the cable.
You what?
Ditto for this side. And then over here, I may have to get Coda soaked in gas again, boys, because what we've done is disconnected the fuel line here, and that's because I have a new filter to go here, because this one has a bunch of particulate in it. There's also another filter further down this way. It's in a little bit better shape. There it is. So we have two filters. So I have new fuel hose, two new filters. So what I did with this one is this hose going to the tank looks like it's been replaced. That looks like it was at one point in time too, but it's all cracked and nasty again. So I took the 1/4 inch punch, because they're kind of sort of tapered. Then when I undid the hose clamp, I jammed this in there and then tightened it back. But I may have to loosen that again and try to force that in there a little more. Try to retighten it, or put a bigger punch the next size up. 5/16. And then that should hopefully stop all fuel leaks long enough for me to replace the filters, replace the hoses. That'll be its own video though, but we're just letting you know where we are thus far. Yeah. And then got everything, I got these harnesses out of the way. And then on this side, I got this guy out of the way. He was running over the alternator, down, then up. And the spade connector was connected in here, which has a fuse between there, and then this end, of course, on this side of the coil. So, alright, go ahead and start getting the rest of those screws out for the 10. Now we're going to leave this 10 in here. I'm pretty sure I can just drop it past the seal, and it shouldn't damage anything. But if I feel like it will, I may try to get in there and get that screw and that screw, but I don't think I'm going to need to. One thing we will have to do, though, is there are little screws back in here that are holding this piece of tin in. You can see, well, maybe you can see, I can't really see that well, but on Steve's dad's Beetle, we managed to get that off by taking a 1/4 inch socket, putting it on a 1/4 inch drive, so 1/4 inch socket on the 1/4 inch drive, and then you have to take your straight screwdriver bit, which is one of these guys, because 1/4 inch is actually what fits on these bits perfectly. Then you can slide that in there and then use that, because you can't get a screwdriver back there. But that'll remove the 10, that'll give you access to that little 17mm nut that's holding the engine of the transmission. So we're going to work on that next. 10mm is actually what's on the back of mine, but my earlier statement still applies if you have a screw that takes a straight screwdriver bit as opposed to this 10mm. It looks like it's going to be another 10mm that holds the chute on. I'll show you what that looks like when I take it out. But it's a duct essentially that goes up and then into this tin and then into the oil cooler. And then this is that piece. So it's bolted here. Alright. So now I should be able to see that 17 mil. Okay, here is this metal fuel line. Guess I need a light. I swore I had the light turned on. It goes through there, so you will have to undo the hose clamp from that end underneath the car where it's going to the hose that goes to the filter. And I also just connected it from there so I can pull it out and then just slip it right through there. So that's it. And then I have my 17 millimeter ratcheting wrench. On that last nut, I have my jack under the car, and it's I can't pump it anymore because it just has the little pressure relief going off. So, but this is touching it, the engine, so that should be good enough. It's about as centered as I can get it. Should be good enough once I start taking it loose. The engine won't just fall because it is sitting on those studs. So you have to pull it backwards like an inch or so and then drop it down. So that's the game plan. I'll have to enlist Katie to help me do that. But once I loosen that nut, we'll grab her and then I'll have her operate the jack, I guess, while I hold the engine and attempt to balance it. And then hopefully it'll be low enough that I can slide it out. If not, I can slide the engine off the jack. And then if I have to, also off that piece of wood, and then it should clear it. Okay, boys. So I'll get to where I think you can see something, or maybe I should scoot you back. There's shit on the floor, so I might be able to scoot you all the way back. But this will have to do, I guess. Alright. So now we just need to, everything's loose, so the engine just needs to go back maybe an inch and then down. Assuming it's not caught on anything, it should be as easy as that. So I think then we'll have Katie operate the jack, and I hold the engine steady. We'll see. Alright.
Start pulling again?
Yeah, give her a yank and I'm going to give her a pry. We're almost out. Try to lift up on the pipe one more time.
Whatever you do, I'd be quick.
Alright, we're clear on this side. Let me check that side. If we're clear, we can drop it.
Yeah, it's starting to touch your rubber.
We are clear on this side. This thing should just be able to drop down now.
Theoretically.
Yeah, and what we'll have to do is...
Tilt back as you drop.
I think we've cleared... So, you're going to have to lower it. It's going to lower until it gets close to there, but what we need to make sure is that the clutch and the flywheel shit's not bumping into the input shaft. So...
Okay.
So you're just going to have to lower it a little bit at a time, and then from there we'll get to push it or pull it or something.
I wish the lowering was just as gentle as the pumping. No, Smoothie.
I know. It'll take the engine and put it over here. Or at this point, I might just be able to drag it off the board. Well, if I do that, getting it back on something is going to be kind of a fucking...
I'd probably just leave it on the board if you can.
We're about to find out if I can or not. I gotta see if I can clear this. Not, it's not the end of the world. We could lift the car's body up a little more. If I could line this up, I do think I could just...
Can I lift this?
Maybe a little on the suspension. I'd probably get a jack and put it under.
I'm like, it's going up a little bit.
Hold on. I gotta try to line this bitch up. Damn you. Yeah, this will fit if I can just get it right through this fucking hole. I'm trying to get this thing straight so I can get through this hole or this hole. It'll get through one of these.
No, okay.
As long as I can fucking line it up. Let me know this thing's lined up with this fucking hole.
So this big flat part.
Hopefully it will.
You know, about 3 inches.
It's gonna slide off the board if I go for 3 more inches.
Oh. Because you're real close to, you're at the edge of it. You know, you need another inch.
Okay, well, we're about to come off the board.
Can I try whacking the board? Hand me the hammer. Moving the board some.
Yeah, I'll turn the lift off. Alright, stop. Let's see if this will help. Well.
Oh, you're past it now.
God damn you, woman.
I was. Alright, I would try pulling right there. You're about.
Gotta make sure the board goes with it.
So far it is, for the most part. There you go, let's go with it. Yay! Almost whacked my head on you.
Okay. Get the tape measure out of somewhere so the boys can see how high they need this thing to be.
Where do you have my tape measure?
Well, if it's not in my bag, I put it somewhere, I thought, around here.
A tape measure.
That'll do, pig, that'll do. Okay, boys. So in this car's current configuration, the wheels are this far off the ground. About 14 inches, give or take. This rear apron area, if I can get the tape measure to stay still. Let's see. That's about 26 and a half. Almost. 26 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's about 26 and a half, give or take. But the exhaust hole is what you really need. So as long as you can get the apron that far, you should be good. So I've got the engine sitting on, well, one of those boards you saw earlier.
We did have 2 boards above that, but we knocked them out.
But the engine itself is about almost 24 inches tall. So as long as you got that kind of clearance, then, like I did, you're good. So about the engine itself 24. So if you didn't have one of these things or anything, you could just set the engine on the ground and just drag it out. And then you'd only need 24 inches of clearance. But I had about 24 and a half here, but the little hole for the exhaust gave me just enough, about the 26, which is what it's sitting probably with these boards. So, all right, so now we got future videos to look forward to where I'm going to be doing, well, quite a bit of work. I'll have to see if this clutch is any good. I do have a clutch kit. I got a pilot bearing en route. It's on back order. We got spark plugs we're going to do. The plug wires. Now I have to do a distributor since I broke my vacuum advance on the way out.
There was one casualty.
And then heat risers. Now I should be able to do that. That'll be its own video, but I should be able to take the carburetor and, well, maybe the distributor off. Probably normally wouldn't have to, but might as well now. And then I should be able, once I unbolt it from the manifolds, just slide it out this way. And we also have some seals coming. So part of the clutch kit, we do have the throwout bearing and everything. So I'm not sure if that's from the engine leaking oil. That's from the transmission leaking oil, but I do have an input shaft seal en route, along with the axle seals en route, because they're leaking as we can see. So we should get this thing tidied up soon enough. Also have transmission mounts to replace. Those are coming in. Our fuel filter in line. We got that work cut out for us. So, all right. I guess look forward to everything else coming up. But now that I got the engine out, I should have plenty of room to work. So, all right. Hope you enjoyed the video, boys. So that's 2 Beetle engine out videos we have. So the rest of the maintenance will be done on this one, whereas Steve's dad's was just how to remove the dual Weber engine out of his. So, all right. Catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, boys. Peace.